Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm just looking to see what we got here. I don't know what sentiment I want to use tonight. I guess we can use one from here. So, how is everybody? I'm using for tonight's mystery card the Lovely and Sweet stamp set and dies. And as you can see, I just stamped this image. I don't know if I'm going to color it yet or not. All right. So hopefully you got all your pieces for tonight's card. I'm just thinking this is our sentiment here. So you can create with me and post it in our group for a random prize. And I did have my, hey Kathy, I did pick, and believe it or not, I left it in the other room, so I'll have to post it once I am done with my video. All right, so we wanted our card base, 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score that at 4.25. All right, so that's our card base. Then we wanted an additional piece measuring 5.25 by 4. Let's see, I want to make sure I got this right. I might have cut too many pieces. Let me just check. Craziness. I usually print out the sheet so I know exactly what we want. And I did not print it. Here we go. All right, so our card base is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score that at 4.25. And as you can see, I did not score mine. Then we want a piece of basic white, 5.25 by 4, and we're going to emboss it with our favorite embossing folder. There we go. So this is the one I chose. I am not sure of the name of this embossing folder. I don't even think it's in the annual catalog. Let's see. It is not. So it must be an old one. Which is fine. I do it all the time. So that is our basic white embossed. Then we needed a piece of designer series paper, 5.25 by 2, and emboss this one also. And I actually embossed it with the Stippled Rose. I believe that was the name of that one from the Celebration catalog. It's this one right here. Okay. And so that's what I embossed that with. Then I wanted you to get a piece of basic white, 2.5 by 1.5, and that's for our sentiment. And then scraps to stamp your images. And let me just see. I actually stamped this one. All right, and I have to die cut it. And then I also stamped the smaller image from this stamp set. And I already die cut that one. Not sure if I'm going to color them yet. And then I wanted you to get your card base color at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then a piece of basic white, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Let's just make sure that's it. Yep. All right, so these are extra. So I chose Pebbled Path. And the designer series paper is the paper for the Sweet and Lovely stamp set that is in the mini catalog. Let me just pull this up here. Nature's Sweetness. Okay, so it is the Nature's Sweetness 12 by 12 designer series paper. Hey Karen, how are you? Storming. Oh my goodness. It looked like it was going to rain here, but it didn't. So we'll see. All right, so we have our pieces. Let me score mine while I'm thinking about it. All right, so that was easy. And then I also wanted you to get some ribbon and embellishments, right? And I didn't even say, but my card is going to be portrait. So we have our card base. We are going to grab our embossed layer. All right, you just want to check to make sure it's going to fit on there well. And we're going to grab our designer series paper. And this is actually going to go on this layer here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to adhere this with glue. Okay, but before we do that, I am going to grab the little, and I believe this is vanilla, the little image that I already stamped in Pebbled Path and die cut, and this is going to go on the front of the card. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I don't really want to color it all that much. Let me see where my ivory is. That's petal pink. That's petal pink. Where's my ivory? Here it is. So I'm going to take my ivory, and where this is vanilla, I am just going to add a little bit of ivory to the petals. I'm only doing it on one side of the petals. Just to give it a little bit of color. All right. And you can't even notice it. It's very, very light. And I don't want to overdo it because I want to keep our card fairly neutral. So this is going to be adhered to the center of the card. And I am going to actually tuck this under this piece. All right, so I want to get a fair idea. So I think I'll have it so the petal and this little piece touches the end of that layer. So let's just add some glue, and of course it is stuck. It actually feels weird not having my daughter in here tonight. The poor thing, she moved yesterday, and she is in the middle of a mess right now, the poor thing. All right, so I am going to put this on this layer. So these two pieces. So whatever image you're going to use or you want to tuck, I would line this up in the center, get an idea of where you want to put this before you adhere this piece down. I would normally pop this up, but where it's designer series paper, it's pretty flimsy for a pop-up layer. So we're just going to adhere it. And we want to put it right in the center. See, if Emma was here and I heard from her more today, she would have told me to make sure I had my name picked for this week's random winner. All right, so I have it adhered. Yeah, she has to stay in New York at least for another year. It has to do with Jimmy and his job at the lab. All right, I'm going to trim this off. You can see the designer series paper is protruding a little bit. So I'm going to just use this little trimmer and cut that off. All right. Now this piece is going to be adhered to the front of this card, but before we do that, I am going to get a length of ribbon. They're hoping in another year to get out of the city. We'll see. I don't know where it'll take them, but there's hospitals, cancer hospitals all over that he can go to. So, all right. So I am going to take my length of ribbon and I'm putting it in the center of the designer series paper. And I use glue dots. You guys know I don't like to wrap and add bows, so I cheat. All right. So now that that is there, I can get my card base and add my glue. Now where it's embossed, you need some extra glue to make sure it adheres to your card. Now I know there are others out there that does the mystery card and they do not craft with you, but I like making the cards too. All right, so let's see, is that even? Nope, we gotta scoot it down just a little. Isn't that terrible? Some days I can get these on here completely straight. Some days not. All right, so far here are most of our pieces other than our scrap. All right, so we have our scrap piece. And this is again the image from Lovely and Sweet. The Lovely and Sweet stamp set. And I'm just looking. Oh, there it is. I was going to say I die cut that piece. Where did it go? And we're going to line this up. And I'm going to die cut it really quick. And I think what I'll do is, oh, I don't know. Should I color it or not? I don't know if I want to add color. Just let's see what we can do here. All right, so I wanted this image also on the front of the card. And you can use any image you want. Okay. So we also have the sentiment that needs to go on the front, which this is fairly big for the front of the card. Decisions. All right, you know what? We'll do this on the fly. I'm going to use this little sentiment from the Lovely and Sweet set. And it says, just sending a bit of love your way. All right, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to hopefully get it on here straight. Oh, not bad. Not too bad. All right, I'm going to cut this down. So if you have yours, we're just going to, you can cut your sentiment down if you want. When I do these cards, and I have it in my head of what I'm going to create, all I do is cut the paper. And then I pretty well do it on the fly while we're, oh, that's crooked, while we're all together. Let's just get this in here. So that's why I always tell you, make sure you bring a trimmer. Just in case. All right, that's okay. All right, so I cut down my sentiment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my gray marker and I'm going to just add some stitch lines around so it's not so plain. And you can do lines, you can do dots. This way it doesn't look so plain. All right. Hey, Do. I'm sure I was talking about you. All right, so we are going to pop this up. I didn't think you'd make it at all, Do. So we were talking about you, saying that you would have reminded me to make sure I had the name of the person that was the random winner. All right, I'm going to stick my sentiment over here because I ended up forgetting it. All right. And then we are going to add our image. And I'm going to pop this up. And I am going to make a bow. So let me just tie this bow up quick. As we're deciding, should I color the image? There's a meeting tonight, Do, if you want to do that. Hi, Kathy. Northeast Ohio. Well, welcome. It is great to have you here. You like it in black and white? Yeah, I think so too. I did add a little bit of color to this one here. All right, so we have a quick little bow here. This ribbon is the linen texture ribbon, Pebbled Path, and it's a little on the heavy side. So creating these bows, you don't get a really good knot in the center. So it's going to be a little harder for those sections to be puffy. I think we'll shift this just looking. So with your image, whatever you want to do with it, you can add it to the front of your card. I don't want to hide this. So I think I'll put it just like that, but I'm going to pop it up. So let's grab some dimensionals. So like I said, I knew what I wanted in my head, and it just... I'm going to tuck that under the sentiment. There's a piece of glue. And I want to make sure I can add my bow and not cover up this flower too much. All right, we're going to stick it right there. And again, this ribbon is a little on the thicker side, so instead of using my regular dimensionals, glue dots, I like using the glue dots that I have. They're large, and if you use them for the heavier ribbon, the ribbon sticks just a little bit better. We're going to stick that right there, puff it up. And I'm actually going to grab a smaller glue dot, because if you notice, I stuck this on that ribbon. So I'm just going to take a smaller glue dot and lift this up and just glue that ribbon down to the front there. All right. So there is, hey, Liara. Yeah, right. This is actually the pebbled path. So it is, I think the pebbled path is almost like gray. All right, so now we have our inside. And I'm actually going to, yeah, Bill actually asked me, well, what are you creating? What are you making tonight? And I said, well, I have nothing to show you because all I know is what my paper sizes are. I have no idea. So you'll have to see it after I'm done. All right, so here is this image here that I added a little bit of color to. All right. Thanks, Karen. How you doing? Oh, yeah, the DSP is pretty, right? And I am going to just ink this up. And I want to just check, where is that small? Here it is. You'll notice that there is writing, and it's blurry, but there's writing underneath the stamp right here. It cuts out when you die cut it. Here. It cuts out when you die cut the image, but where I'm going to stamp it, it's still here. So I am going to make sure I get the whole stamp on the bottom. And grab our seal. This layer, I am not too keen on using glue. Add it to our layer. Now, don't forget this month's ordering special. Place an order anytime during the month, and at the end of the month, I will send you the pick a tool. That is this month's ordering special. I don't have it here, but you'll look at the banner. There is a host code. So when you place your order, use that host code, and at the end of the month, I will send you the Take Your Pick tool. All right, that's my thank you for placing an order. All right, so here's our inside. Look on the banner in our group, Karen. Off the top of my head, I don't really know it. I did have it right here, but of course it's missing in action. I probably threw it away. Let's see, I think I can look it up real quick here. It is it's I'm getting it. Hold on. It is D like in dog, U S 2 S J U 6. That's a crazy host code, isn't it? There's changes coming, and host codes will no longer be used pretty soon. All right, so here's our card. I think I am going to grab, let's see if I have some neutral embellish. Oh, here we go. We'll use some rhinestones. Yeah, host codes are going to be a thing of the past sometime during this year. How crazy is that? All right. So there is tonight's mystery card. That is it. That is what it is. Let's just DUS 2SJU6. Very good. Thank you, Karen. So if you use that host code, you will get an order. You can get pasta. That sounds yummy. All right. Hey, Sheila. So there we go. That's tonight's card. I'll post the random winner in our group when I get off here, because I'm not sure what her name is. And post your card for this week in our group before next Monday's video, and have a chance to win a random drawing. So thanks for joining me tonight, ladies. Yeah, it was 71 here today. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.